So, hello all. A warm welcome to all of you on the day first of CSS Beginners to Advanced series. And so let's wait for some time so that some more people will join and can. One second. So, today we will be starting with the CSS Beginners to Advanced series, and this is a series. This will be a 4-day series. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you all can get a chance of participation certificate. Who fill all the 4 days attendance form. So I request to all to please attend all the 4-day session. The session will be approx 1 to 1.5 hour long, maybe. So alright. Okay, so let's wait for some more time, and after that we will start with the CSS Beginners to Advanced series. So today we will be taking the basics part, and tomorrow we will start with some of the basics part and Flexbox, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday half of the grid, Friday half of the grid, and a small project. That is the total schedule what we will be covering in these 4 days. So this will be the 4-day schedule, and I request you all to please fill all the 4 days attendance sheet. The attendance sheet will be taken up in a form of Google form, which the link will be shared in the YouTube live chat. Yeah, hi Naveen. So let me share the WhatsApp group also. One second. You can join the WhatsApp. So you can join the WhatsApp group also with this link for further updates. You can join the WhatsApp group also with this link for further updates related to what is going on in the channel, what is happening, what will be the upcoming things like that. So that is how we next day we have a different schedule, and also we will be having a boot camp on Saturday 3 p.m. So let us have a screen share first. Okay, fine. I hope the my screen is clear and visible to all of you. So today we will be covering the CSS basics part, and what else? Yes, today we will be covering only CSS basics part, classes, IDs, box model, styling of list, styling of form, and block property, float property. We will be covering today. From tomorrow, we will pick up that positioning part, alignment part, pseudo classes, and flexbox, grid, and a project in continuation. So, can someone please confirm that my screen sharing is proper, and one more thing, my voice is audible and clear to all of you. Can someone please confirm here? So I just want to hear a response from someone. Is my screen visible to all of you? My voice is clear, so that we will start further. Yeah, thanks Naveen. Yeah, thanks. So I can say Naveen Kumar is very active here. So thanks Naveen here. So I hope the screen the yeah, thanks Ankit. So I can say the font size, if someone is viewing this particular thing on his mobile handset, so can I assume that the font is properly coming or visible there? So this is the basic structure of a HTML file. Please share the WhatsApp group link. Ashutosh ji, 1 second. So this is a WhatsApp group link. You can click on the link and join on the WhatsApp group for the further updates here. Okay, so sorry. Let us start with CSS. Now I will not be able to view the comments for some time because I will be starting the theoretical part now for some time. After theoretical part, I will be starting with the CSS part. Fine. So what is CSS and why it is being used? So CSS is basically cascading style sheet, and it is used to decorate the HTML part. And without CSS, your web page will look very ugly, and it is not decorative, and nobody will like that. So the full form of CSS is cascading style sheet, and it is being used to style the websites. In 1995, across 1995, when I remember, the internet has been started. At that time, I still remember the web page of yahoo.com, which contains only hyperlinks. A logo, a Yahoo is in the center, and in across all the homepage, only hyperlinks are there. So that is why, because at that time CSS was not being introduced in the system. And one more very important thing: CSS, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is a HTML and CSS is being governed by a committee called as W3 schools, and this W3 school is being maintaining the HTML and CSS. So today we will be covering the CSS 3. Okay, fine. Sorry. So uh, we will be linking both the theoretical and practical part, so that you will have an idea as where to use, what to use where, so that you can not mess up the things. And one more thing very important: in case you find that my speed is high, please comment on the YouTube chat box, so that I will lower down my speed. So let us start with the CSS, proper CSS now. So what is CSS? CSS is basically cascading style sheet, which is used to decorate or beautify the HTML files, or I can say the websites. Fine. So now, how many ways you can add CSS? This is an interview question in as how many ways you can add CSS. So I will keep on telling which is the interview question and why it is being asked. Fine. So this is the interview question: in how many ways you can add CSS? So there are three ways in which you can add CSS: inline, internal, and external. So let us have a proper idea of how we will be using it. So let us start with the CSS basics, and here um, one, inline, internal, and external. So these are the three ways in which you can add CSS. Fine. Sir, can you maximize the screen? Mr. Dhruv, my screen is already in a maximized state, and I have already increased the font size. So, but this will be on a very higher side. In case you are viewing on your handset, mobile handset, so you find it a little bit difficult. Fine. So I can say this will be okay. So let us open with this live server. So what is live server? Live server basically refresh your website in a live environment. So one second. Fine. So inline, internal, and external. So what is this inline? Inline, as the name says, in the same line. Fine. Inline, in this inline CSS, you can directly add HTML to, you can directly add CSS to your HTML element. Fine. So this is an HTML element and you can directly add CSS to this here with the help of inline. So you will have style. See, in the same line, I have applied CSS directly to the HTML element. So background color aqua we have applied to this inline type of CSS. Fine. Now, second one is the internal. Internal means inside the HTML file. You can apply CSS. So how? Let us have in this H2 we will be applying one second. One second. Mhm. One second, some error is there. Let me see. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, fine. So now, what is the mistake? Because here I have taken H1 and I am applying the scale to H2. That is why it is not coming. So I've changed here to H2 again. So this H2 is a header tag. This H2 is a header tag where I have applied the second type of CSS, which is called as the internal CSS. Internal CSS applies directly to the HTML file. So this is the basic difference between inline and internal. Inline applies to the HTML element and internal applies within the HTML file. Now, what is this external type of CSS? So in this external type of CSS, as the name suggests, external means externally we are writing CSS and then we are linking this CSS to that HTML what we have written. Fine. So this is how external will work. So as the name says external, so externally we will be writing a code of CSS. So externally we are writing, so we need to create an external file, but always remember the extension of this file will be .css. Fine. HTML file has the extension of .html and CSS file has the extension of .css. So we have created a file with the name of style.css. Style is the name of the file and .css is the extension of the CSS file. So here, what we will be doing, we will be linking. We will first apply the CSS to the h3 tag, h3, and we'll change the background color to. We'll change the background color in a pattern of RGB format with the range of 255 100 and 0. So let's just see. Okay, fine. So here if you see, we have applied a background color in the pattern of RGB. But if you see here what is happening, as soon as I am saving this file, changes is not coming here. Why it is not coming here? Because we need to link both these files. So let us have fine. So it will come like that because we need to use the link tag in order to link both the files. Now you need to link it only once. After that, it will get applied across for all the CSS which we have applied for all the HTML elements. Fine. So these are the three ways in which you can apply CSS. Now the interviewer can ask you a question that which is more effective, inline or external. So inline is more effective. Why? Because you can apply directly and which is the most popular one. So external is the most popular one. After that, internal, and after the last one is the sorry external, inline, and internal. Now moving on to the next topic in CSS. What is the next topic in CSS? CSS selectors. No, no, no. One second. If you see here, if you see here, I have add color here also, and here also, and here also. If you all have noticed here, so when I have added color here, why I have not followed a simple common format? Why I followed typing the name of the color here using some hexa pattern here, and here what is this? Here some RGB pattern. Why colors in these three pattern? Because it shows that in these ways you can add colors also in CSS, because CSS is totally contains colors and alignment. So here, as I have told you, in this CSS part we can add colors in these ways. First one is simply typing the name of the color. Guess what? As I have typed here, fine. And there are around 140 colors in which you can simply type the name of the color and the color will come here. So there are 140 colors, which is more. External is more. External is view. External type of CSS is being used a lot. After that, inline, and after that, internal. So okay, fine. So where are, okay, so there are 140 ways. So there are 140 name of the colors. You can simply type it out. So let us go through those. Okay, so second thing is that in this way, using the hexadecimal format, as I can assume that most of you are from a technical background or you have heard about number system. So in number system there is a system which is called as hexadecimal number system. In this hexadecimal number system, it contains a range starting from 0 to f, sorry, 0 to 9 and a to f, but it starts with hash. That hash resembles that this type of system is of a hexadecimal number system. Similar to hexadecimal number system, it follows the same pattern which contains a variety of colors inside it. So let us have a brief idea on the pattern of colors, as how many colors you can add, what is the code, like that. So 1 second. Okay, fine. So this is a site being managed and owned by W3 School, which contains inline CSS. Is not a good way. I am saying, I also say the same, but instantly you can apply directly to the HTML element. You not need to go anywhere in order to apply the CSS. Instantly you can write using the style, you can add the CSS. Fine. So using this HTML color picker site, you can have an idea of how many colors are there, what are the RGB code, okay, what are the hexadecimal code. Okay. Now another form of color system is the HSL. HSL means hue, saturation, and lightness. So this is a form in which you can add colors also. H contains the colors, U contains the saturation, sorry, S contains the saturation, and L lightness contains the brightness. So these colors have the codes which is there in front of you. So you can directly copy it and paste it in the HTML file. And one more thing, RGB. So here, a human eye can contain a combination of colors of only three colors RGB, which is red, green, and blue. So here, if you see, you can have a selection of R, G, and this is the color. This is the code, hexadecimal, and this is the RGB code. So you can directly copy it and paste it. Fine. So this is the way in which you can add colors to your HTML, to your CS, to your HTML file. Now, one more thing. These are the names. See, if you click here, this is the hexadecimal code, RGB code, and HSL code. See, hexadecimal, HTML, RGB, like that. So this is how you can add colors. So this is Indian red, light coral, salmon, dark salmon, light salmon, like that. So you can add colors in this way. Now, moving on to the next property, which is called as the CSS selectors. So what is CSS selector? So this is a CSS selector. Entire this thing. So I can say inside CSS selector is a declaration, and this is called as a property, and this is the value. Entire thing is a declaration. This is a selector, or I can say anything before this colon is a property, after this colon is a value, and before this curly bracket is a selector. So this is again an interview question. What is a CSS selector? Fine. So moving on to the next topic in CSS, which is called as the mm, fonts, which is called as the fonts. So in order to understand this, let me change something in my file so that we can have a clear cut idea of what is fonts. Okay. So let me have a dummy paragraph which contains a lorem of 50 content. Fine. Now, what we will do here, we will try to analyze some of the basic font properties and how to add fonts. So, in this paragraph type, using this font family, you can add fonts. Now, what is this font family? In this font family, you can see anywhere in the screen, you can see minimum of three available fonts system is going to select. So let us select Arial, Helvetica, and Sans serif. Fine. Now, what is there in this Arial, Helvetica, and Sans serif? Because we are looking for only a single type of font, but system is allowing you to select a minimum of three fonts. Why is it so? Because here, if you see, the next available fonts, the Helvetica and the Sans serif, are the fallback fonts. Okay. And one more thing, why uh, the interviewer can ask you. So I'm not able to recall that question, but we'll tell you in some time. So why fallback fonts are there? Because because in case, if assuming that Google Chrome does not support Arial, okay, so in that scenario it will automatically pick up the Helvetica font, or I can say Let us assume Firefox Developer Edition does not support Arial and Helvetica, so it will by default pick the sans serif font. So that is the reason why the backup fonts or fallback fonts is being given here. These are there because if the current browser does not support the first available font, it will pick up the next available fonts which we have given here. And one more very important thing, these are the traditional fonts. Nowadays, major websites is taking the help of Google fonts. Here, what are Google fonts? If you see, so if you see here, these are the Google fonts, and without these fonts, your website designing will not be possible. Because if you know these days, Google are now into your each and every part of your life, or I can say it's a part and parcel of your life. Starting from morning till night, you use many Google applications. So that's why Google have created their fonts also, which is called as a Google fonts, and it is being used a lot. Now let us start with some font. So yesterday I used a Laura font. One second, Laura. Okay. This is a Laura font which Saturday I have used it. So this is how it looks. So simply select here, click here, copy the link and paste it in the top of your CSS. Now, a very simple question. Can you add multiple fonts? Yes, you can add multiple fonts with multiple font weights. Now, how to use this font? So, using this LORA and save it. So, this is how it looks. Now, let us add font size of 30 px. Okay, a font size of 30 px. And let us add some more font properties here. Have the font weight as bold. Okay, and after this font weight, let us have line height of 1.5 em. So if you have noticed here, the spaces between the lines has been increased now. And here in this, I can say I can add one more property. It's called as the letter spacing as 1.5 rem. Fine. So let me reduce it. Okay. So if you see here, I have added three units here: PX, EM, and REM. Fine. But again, the same question I can ask, I can say I can add px across all, or I can add em across all, or I can add rem across all. But why different units in different parts? So there's a reason, because these are called as a units of measurements, which we will be using every in and out. So here, if you see, px is a normal pixels, which you all is being aware of. What is px? Px is basically px stands for pixels, which you all is being taken care in your hand, mobile handset. Em and rem. So em is a unit of measurement which depends upon the value what contains the parent. It depends upon the value of the parent. And rem works independently. Rem does not depend on anything. Rem, I can say rem sets value as what user has given him to apply. So, or I can say one more thing. Um, rem is a globally independent value. It does not depend on it does not depends upon anything. So now let us start with classes and IDs. So what are classes and what are IDs? Fine. So classes and IDs both are used to target HTML element. Both are used to target HTML element, and and mm, and one more very important thing. Classes can be I can say in that way. Same class can be used multiple times, but same ID, or I can say a single ID, can only be used only one time. So this is a major difference between classes and IDs. I can repeat it once more. Same class can be used multiple times, but in ID it is not being used like that. So this is the main difference between classes and IDs. Now let us have a second paragraph. Fine. So here what I will do. Okay. Now one more very important thing. If you have noticed here, I have created a dummy paragraph, and in this paragraph, the already CSS is being given there, so it applies directly the same type of CSS which I have given here. So now, in order to overcome from this problem, classes and IDs has been introduced. So let us have top. See, so the class name, and here we will add the ID. So classes, so I can say dot is being placed before classes, and hash is being placed before IDs. So let me apply a similar set of properties. Here we will use the Helvetica font, and here it let us keep it same. Now if you see here, we have dot means class, hash mean ID. So dots is being used to highlight class, and hash is being used to highlight. Now, if you see here, I can use this same class multiple times, but this ID cannot be used multiple times. So this is the main basic difference between both of them. Now, now moving on to the next topic in CSS, which is called as the box model. What is this box model? So, as the name suggests, box model. So you can correlate the name with some theoretical type of things. Box means a box type of structure like that. So you all are thinking correct. Box means. So before going there, let me have. Now what we'll do. Dot class name. Now, as I told you, now we will be opening this in a Chrome browser, because now from here Google Baba will take you all through. Fine. So now if you see here, okay, 1 second. See, oh sorry. See, this is a box model. So if you see here, this is the content, this is the padding, border, and margin. Content, padding, border, and margin. So a box model property contains of four things. What are the four things? These four things are content. Content in the center is the content. Outside the content we have padding. Outside the padding we have border, and outside the border we have margin. So in this, if you see here, outside the content we have padding. So padding will be from top, left, bottom, and down. And similarly, what else? Padding will be across all the sides, border will be across all the sides, and margin will be across all the sides. But there are ways in which you can change it to a single direction. So we will go on to that also after some time. But okay. So now let us have the content is there. After this content we have padding. So we have padding of 20p x. We have border. After this we have border. and outside this border we have margin. Fine. Now how these thing will get applied? So how these thing will get applied? So in order to understand this, let us have a basic understanding. As this is the content, outside this content we have the padding. So padding means space around the content across all the sites. So padding of 20 px is there in the top, 20 px in the right, 20 px in the bottom, and 20 px in the left side. Now after this padding we have bottom, which is 2 px wide, solid. Solid means straight line, and the color of the border will be the green. And after this border, outside this border we have margin. Margin will also move in the same way padding moves like. So we have 30 px across all the sides. So 1 second. Fine. Now there are ways in which we can add uh, padding and margin in a single direction. So for this, what we will do, 1 second. So we can do one thing. Let's comment it out. Margin of, oh sorry. We can use margin top, let's say 10 px, margin bottom 20 px, margin left 30 px, and margin right of 40 px. So you can go that way also. Either you can have a common margin across all the sides, or you can have separate margin for all the four directions. Now what we will do here, we will have the padding also in the same way. So we can have padding top of 20 px, padding right of 30 px, bottom of 30 px, and padding of left of 50 px. So it will show like that. Or there is a one more method in which you can apply padding and margin. So day one attendance sheet is there for your reference. I request you all to please fill it right here right now. And one more thing in which you can apply padding and margin. So you can have margin of 20 px and 30 px. So 20 px top, bottom, 30 px left side. Fine. And similarly you can have the padding in the same way of 10 px and 20 px. Fine. So this is the box model property which you can all have a better understanding as in how many ways you can apply box model. So Day 1 attendance is being shared here for your reference. I request you all to please fill right here, right now. And from tomorrow, we will start with the scaling of list and scaling of form. Same day. So please make yourself available at 4 p.m. Thank you.